Amanda, it is really such a pleasure to be here today with you. And I want to thank Target for being the lead sponsor of this conference for the sixth year in a row. We really appreciate the partnership. And, 1962 was a very important year for both Catalyst and Target because it's when we were started. And so I thought I'd start by asking you, what do you see as the most important accomplishment over the last 60 years from your perspective?
Well, thank you, Lorraine. It is such an honor to be with you today. I have to start by congratulating you and the Catalyst team and the community for your fantastic legacy to make workplaces work for women. In celebration of Catalyst's 60th anniversary, we hope all the attendees enjoy the Love is Wise Target tote bags, and just want to take a moment and thank you for your leadership.
Thank you so much.
I started at Target as a student over 20 years ago, 25 years ago, as a matter of fact. And I am so proud of our legacy of corporate responsibility and sustainability practices. I remember joining the team years ago and immediately feeling and seeing that we prioritize communities. I remember, being able to volunteer during work hours and thinking, wow, I have the best job. And finding out immediately that we donate 5% of our profits to the community. So there is so much to be proud of in terms of the legacy. What I also appreciate is as we look ahead to the future, we are looking to set a new chapter for how we define sustainability, how we position our business for continued strength and growth, and build on that legacy. And so although we have this legacy we're proud of, we are not resting. We want to leverage our size and scale to benefit people on the planet and business. And we're thinking through how our brand, how our team, how our collective contributions, to corporate responsibility, have really allowed us to recognize how connected we all are, how the link between planet and the people, how the link between regeneration and equity, climate change and climate justice, we are all thinking about at Target a very holistic view of sustainability and one that delivers on the demands for environmental and social action from our stakeholders. It makes me extremely proud of our team and our commitments at Target. I know in a moment we'll talk about Target Forward, but I'd love to just share a little bit because it is again another proof point of why I'm so proud to work at Target. We have this long legacy, and yet we did take a moment and say, how could we improve our ability to execute and again use our brand and our team to create change with others and within the community. And it all starts with our purpose. We have a purpose to help all families discover the joy of everyday life, and this purpose informs and prioritizes what we do with our guests and with our team. So really just want to share, how proud I am that, at Target, we don't just recognize financial performance, we absolutely recognize impact. And we celebrate impact. And that is part of your job, is to not only deliver on the financial performance, but to realize how connected impact is to our brand relevancy and to our growth strategy.
Amanda, as many of people in the audience are, we're customers and part of that Target community. In fact, I live in Manhattan on the Upper West Side, and a couple of years ago, Target opened a store a few blocks away from us and is really expanding in Manhattan. And, we really feel that as part of the community. So I just wanted to say that the impact you have resonates with me, and I'm sure with everyone who interacts with Target on a regular basis in the shopping that we do. So thank you for sharing, that commitment. I think it makes a real difference, and there's a real opportunity for impacts. So, you mentioned the Target Forward initiative. Why was this the right time for you to really step it up with the Target Forward initiative?
Yeah. I think a lot of it was for a lot of reasons, but I will tell you, I think what drove our, really future-minded LT, including Brian, to really take a moment and build a new chapter, which is Target Forward and sustainability, was because of the team. We know our guests care more and more about where their products are made, what's in their products, that they want to work and shop and experience a retailer that has sustainable practices. But we also have a team that wants to work for a brand where they are creating change, and they have a posture and a position on the business critical topics that matter. And so one of the things we did when we were co-creating Target Forward is we were clear what mattered to our business, what we cared about as a brand, what we were uniquely suited, where we were uniquely suited to create that change and have a positive impact. And it was all in the service of growth. And so what you'll find in Target Forward is the people-centered topics like human rights, DE&I, they have high, priority. They solidify our strategy's deeply human approach to how we show up for our team, our partners, and community. And of course, you mentioned you shop at Target. The materiality assessment also highlighted the impact of products and services and what a role we could play as a retailer in influencing and shaping broader consumption behaviors. So we co-created Target Forward with our communities, with our stakeholders, with our team. And our vision is to co-create an equitable and regenerative future with our guests, our partners, and communities. And I will say, Lorraine, each word in that vision has meaning. The idea of co-create, we need to do this with our team, with our partners, with our stakeholders, with the Catalyst team. The work will be better when we do it together. And I just will say the intertwining of equity and regenerative was also intentional. It showcases the importance to connect people, humanity, to the environmental impact. We wanted to consistently commit to intertwining both areas in our framework, how we could use our size and scale to really create that impact. Now, I'll just share a couple more things just because I'm very passionate about Target Forward, but I also need, everyone here in the Catalyst community to be part of this journey to create an equitable and regenerative future. We have 3 ambitions, again, tied to who we are: design and elevate sustainable brands, innovate to eliminate waste, and accelerate opportunity and equity. And I'll just end with, we want to use every corner of our business. We want to deepen our collaboration with our partners and, again, use our size and scale to create change that is good for all. To realize this vision, the Target Forward vision, we must, continue to be appealing and accessible to everyone, to build sustainability that's affordable and irresistible and easy, and are just so excited about this next chapter.
Amanda, I would love for you to share a little bit more detail on some of the specific initiatives, because, I was reading through them and they're very impactful. As you say, every word is really thought out. And, in this audience here, we have a lot of people working on this. So could you spend a little time going through some of the specifics so that people understand what they are?
Yeah, I would love to. So I'll say within the goals to within Sustainable Brands Ambition, we want to be a market leader in creating curated, inclusive, sustainable brands and experiences. And that includes national brands. Target curates, but we have both own brands and national brands. And so we have goals that will have 100% of our own brands adhering to a Target sustainability standard. We will have 100% by 2025 of our suppliers having policies and programs to advance gender equity. And again, can share more about, what that looks like in terms of hiring and advancement and financial security for their workers. We have goals around circularity. We believe that leveraging our incredible design heritage to really design and create brands that are designed for a circular future will help both our team and our suppliers, but also our guests, our consumers, to really think about when they purchase at Target that they have products that could be recycled, that are regenerative, that are sourced sustainably, all in an effort to make sure that, again, we deliver on that durable, easily repaired or recycled products. I'll quickly share a few more, Lorraine, if I have a moment.
Absolutely. I think we want to hear about it. This is really fantastic. I really like this because it's so tangible and it's so impactful. So hearing these details really helps all of us get an understanding of how you could effectively integrate into every aspect of what you're doing sustainability. I mean, it's really exciting.
Got it. Well, thank you. And I know the team is really proud of the work. The next ambition is around, really eliminating waste. And that is where we have our net zero goal. We have our zero waste goal. And, this is a really interesting moment. We know that, the changes in climate and waste already affect the health and lives and livelihoods of millions of people around the world. So again, back to using our brand as a catalyst for change, we want to find new ways of delivering joyful, inclusive, and accessible products and experiences with our eye on zero waste and zero emissions. So you will see us, again, have very specific goals by 2040 to be net zero, 2030 to be zero waste to landfills in the US. And then the last one, and again, overlap with Catalyst in many regards, but is our goal around equity and opportunity. And this is one that again, is a long legacy at Target. How do we deliver on that purpose I shared and help all families discover the joy of everyday life? And in what role can we play in eliminating systemic barriers to health, safety, happiness, and success? And I think just being aware of the inequities that are faced by our guests and partners and communities, that we're going to use our business and we're going to use our relationships and we're going to work together to create more equity opportunity within our brand. And some of the goals, Lorraine, in that particular ambition would be around representation. It would be around the promotional rate of people of color and women while reducing the rate of turnover. It will be around pay, and I'd love to talk about that in a moment, and benefits. But it's also about how we're going to engage and elevate community voice. You mentioned the store in Manhattan. When we have plans to open a store, we show up with the community first and foremost. We listen. It influences our hiring practices. It influences the store design. It influences how we donate the 5% of the profits within that community. So really thinking through, how can community voice not be an end user of our brand, but be an essential voice to co-create with us. So you will see that, we even have goals within our philanthropic and the Target Foundation to really evolve our practices to be place-based solutions to really invite more participation from communities.
Amanda, the focus on accelerating equity is really critical. And coming off of the pandemic, there's been a lot of learnings. And I know you've addressed flexibility as one of the things that you're focused on. Can you talk a little bit more about how flexible work plays into these goals?
Yeah, I would love to. I'll start by sharing again, these goals are created by listening, really just listening to our team members, really just understanding our communities. And one of the things that we heard about was what mattered was around flexibility. It was around consistency and pay. And so again, not new work for Target, but as part of Target Forward, we really are thinking through how we can leverage our brand, listen in size and scale to create more work. So one of the things that we've been thinking about is how do we think about, really creating even more flexibility within our work. And some of that is in how we're thinking through our ability to offer a variety of schedules. We find some people want consistency. Others want the flexibility. They want to go to school and then work on breaks. But how do we make sure that we're offering what each team member wants in terms of allowing hourly team members to establish schedules when they're available, build schedules around what they're looking for, and make sure that no more than 5 days per week, unless they want extra hours, that we're really thinking about scheduling the schedule in advance, in 10 days in advance. I think it's just really important that, our team members tell us what they want. And what I can tell you is it's personalized. They want flexibility to accommodate their lifestyle, be it their family, their childcare, be it balancing the school schedule. But we want to offer job sharing or really schedules that accommodate their lifestyle. Again, back to just, helping all families discover the joy of everyday life. One other thing I'll share, during COVID, we learned a lot in terms of what were the barriers to come to work. And our affordable backup childcare benefit was a great example of just an industry leading 20 days per dependent of in-center childcare being offered, just as a way to, again, help really all families, really navigate what they need to do for their families. So I think just thinking through it through the lens of what will make it easy, what makes them be able to prioritize what matters most, which is their family, and how does Target play a role as part of their family?
Well, there's so much richness in what you just said that relates to what Catalyst is trying to focus on and that many of our supporters are really leaning into. So first of all, around flexibility, of course, for knowledge workers, the great experiment we've had with remote work has fostered a focus on flexibility. And now 75% of people we surveyed really prioritize flexibility as a top priority. But when we talk about flexibility, as you've highlighted, it's not just about where you work, it's also about when you work and how you work. And even in the context of hourly workers who are working in the stores, you're providing flexibility of when they work, in some cases flexibility about where they work. Maybe they can go to different stores in their schedule. So I think it's a great example about how you're leaning into flexibility to support the needs of your team. And also, the childcare issue has been such an important issue and a pain point, especially for women. And you're really addressing that, which is really critical. The other thing I want to highlight is empathy. So now it's International Women's Day. We just had that. We focused on empathy as a key theme for success in the pandemic and after, and for leadership in general in the 21st century. But key to empathy is really listening and understanding and relating and connecting to your team's needs, and then be taking action to show that you really care and that that's important. So I think these are really like fantastic examples of you showing, how are we going to lead with empathy and with creating inclusive workplaces in the 21st century. So thank you for sharing all that.
Yeah. Lorraine, can I just add one more thing? You said something that just made me think about it, back to that equity and opportunity ambition. We want to democratize opportunity, right? Like we want to remove anything in the way for everyone, to be able to succeed and live up to their own, career ambitions. And I do think that commitment to a culture, right, that's diverse, equitable, and inclusive requires, that listening and making sure that we are creating access. I have to share with you some really exciting news that we announced yesterday, if you don't mind. But yesterday we announced the plan to invest up to $300 million to set a new starting wage range for retail. And it's really excited. Nearly 2 years ago, we led the industry with moving to a $15 per hour starting wage. And now we are going to set a new starting wage range from $15 to $24 an hour across the country. And I share that because prioritizing those investments are because they're good for business. Having a team that feels valued, that can drive equity and opportunity, that can allow them to continue to grow and advance, will allow us to reach these really ambitious goals of growth and impact. And so I just want to share, that, it's good for business. This is work that people are proud of, but it also is paying off in terms of our acquisition, our retention rates, and our advancement.
Well, and that's what all our research shows, that creating an inclusive workplace, just being able to listen and have empathy and then incorporate it into your practices is what enables you to attract, retain, and have high productivity with your employees. And that's really core to your success. Amanda, you have such a great background. You mentioned that you started at Target 25 years ago as a student, and you've observed this over time. Do you have any advice that you'd like to give the next generation of women from all the wonderful experiences you've had in your life?
Oh, wow. Great question. And here's what I'll say, my grandmother lived with us, growing up, and today my mother lives with my family. And so I have to tell you, I have the privilege to see firsthand the power and encouragement of women supporting each other every day in good times and hard times. I can't help but put a lens on the work that I'm doing. And when I think about sustainable business growth, when I think about the challenge, to really, be transformative in creating a business model that's equitable and regenerative, I'd share that I think with the next generation of women, none of us can drive the progress and impact we want to see alone. I mean, we're talking about collaborative effort. And in the past, I might have said that women were particularly suited to collaborative work and change. And I suspect, that is true. But I think we're evolving as a culture to realize that women are not monoliths, and not just women. We are all diverse in so many glorious ways. And so I do think, champion our diversity, we enable mutual respect. And that in turn fuels stronger collaboration necessary to unlock the critical sustainability challenges needed, not only across retail, but across the world. So I guess I would just say we all have a critical and vital part to play as we work toward a more sustainable and regenerative future. And being true to ourselves, who we are, bringing our superpowers to work will help us advance our shared goals. Lorraine, what would you add to that?
Well, I would add to anyone thinking about being a leader or an employee in this environment is that how impactful this moment really is. Catalyst is celebrating our 60th anniversary. It's allowed me to look back in history at our founder, Phyllis Schwartz, and the world that she was in 1962 when she opened up the newspaper, and the ads were classified by gender, and the scope of the work that she could do and people coming into the business world was much more narrow. And today, there's a much broader frame. There's much more understanding around what we need to provide work-life balance and what the importance of bringing women into the workplace and having a diverse workplace. And as we come out of this pandemic and this very impactful moment, we all have an opportunity, as you've pointed out, to reinvent and reimagine. Our theme for this this anniversary is the great reimagining. The reimagining of work, the reimagining of leadership, and that we could all play a part in that, so we can create a world that is a better world, where it's more inclusive, where there's better work-life effectiveness, where everyone can bring their whole self to work. And what Target is doing so well is they're incorporating that in every team member in the community, so that we can really together, reimagine and reinvent a future that is more inclusive and better work environment for everyone. So with that, Amanda, I just want to thank you for, sharing your thoughts, and also thank Target for being a tremendous leader and supporting Catalyst and also supporting community.
Well, thank you so much, Lorraine. I really enjoyed our time together.
Take care.